Welcome back to Refreshing Careers. This is the part 3 of the topic time value of money. So the first thing is, the first heading is future value of single cash flow. Now what is single cash flow? Single cash flow is when you're considering just one cash flow. For example, if I tell you to find the value of 10,000 after say 2 years at the rate of interest of 5%, then this is called a single cash flow. Instead of this, if I tell you to find the value of thousands that I received in the year 2022, thousand received in the year 2023, thousand in the year received in the year 2024, and like this, so on, it's received till another 20 years. So this, for 20 years I keep receiving thousand, and I'm asking you to find out the value, the future value of all these amounts. These are multiple cash flows. This is a single cash flow. So when I ask you to find the value of all these amounts, which is going to continue for the next 20 years, then this is called as multiple cash flow. Whereas if I ask you to find the value of this 10,000 for some n years at this much rate, since we're just considering one value, this is called a single cash flow. So it's the definition of it can be understood through the wording itself. The word single itself says what it is. So now let's take the question. What will be the future value of rupees 10,000 after 3 years if it is invested today at 11%? The question is very simple. They're just asking you to find the future value. And they're told the present value is 10,000. That at present you are having 10,000. They're saying that if you invest it, what will be the returns after 3 years if you're getting 11% on it? So your future value is what you need to find out, and the present value is 10,000. 1 plus I. What is I? I is 0.1. 0.11. That is 11% to the power 3. So when you multiply this, you will get 10,000 into 1.368, which is equal to 13,680. So before coming to this 30,680, I need to explain to you what is this 1 plus I to the power n. 1 plus I to the power n. This means the value of 1 rupee after n years at this interest rate, at this percentage of interest. That is, let's take this for example, that I is, let's assume that I is 5%, and let's assume n is 2 years. So when you substitute, you will get it in this format: 1 plus I, that is 0.05 to the power 2. So when you solve this, you can solve it in calculator, you will get 1.1025. This 1.1025, what is it? This is the value of 1 rupee. This is the value of 1 rupee after 2 years at this percentage. It is the value of 1 rupee after 2 years at 5%. So 1.1025 is the future value of rupee 1 after 2 years at 5%. That is the meaning of this formula. So basically what are you doing? Basically you are finding out the value of 1 rupee. You are just finding out the future value of 1 rupee after n years at some particular rate of interest. And once you find out the value of 1 rupee, all you need to do is multiply with the present value. Let's go back to the question. Okay, see, what you have done here is same. First you find out this value, that is 1 plus I to the power n is what is this thing is, and then we multiply. First you find out for 1 rupee, what is the future value at this rate and for these many years. That is 1.368. So once you find it out for 1 rupee, all you need to do is multiply with the amount that is given, that is 10,000. So you will get 13,680. Now another thing that we need to know is there is another way to solve this. We solved this using calculator and we got 1.368. But this particular thing, that is 1 plus I to the power n, can be solved using a table. That table is this. This table is called as future value interest factor, and this table is only for single cash flows. Only for single cash flows. Please keep this in mind very clearly. It's only for single cash flows. There are 4 tables like this. For single cash flows, the table that we'll be using to find out the future value is called as future value interest factor. Okay, the other tables I'll be showing you in the later classes. At present, let's just be familiar with this particular table. Now, in this question, what we had to find? We had to find, okay, 1 plus I to the power n. I is 11%. Sorry, I have written it as R. This is not R, it's I. Because here I have taken it as I. If I would have written this as R, then taking here as R, it would have been fine. But since I have written here as I, so I should take here as I or R, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Only thing is you need to remember the formula correctly. You can take it as R, I, M, N, T, anything that you like. But the thing is you need to remember what it is. Okay? So, yeah. So here we need to find out for 11%. We need to find out for 11% for 3 years what will be the value of 1 rupee. 11% to 3 years, value of 1 rupee will be 1.3676. This means that after 3 years, 1 rupee is going to be 1.3676 at the rate of 11%. If you round this off, you'll get 1.368. That is what you have taken here, 1.368. So either you can calculate this 1 plus I to the power n, or you can use the tables. This table has all the values of 1 plus I to the power n. So what they have done is, instead of us calculating the values, they have just calculated and given us the values, and all that they expect is you just multiply it with this particular factor. You can find out from the table and just multiply with the present value. They are just trying to help us out by giving the table so that we can do the calculation easily. This table, we like at present we might be thinking when there's calculator why to have a table, but you know, if at all they are told to find the value of 1 rupee after 13 years, if you are told to find out the value of 1 rupee after say 12 years at the rate of 9%, 12 years at the rate of 9%, that will be 2.8127. It's going to be 2.8, let me mark it. It's going to be this. It's going to be 2.8127. So the value of 1 rupee after 12 years at 9% is going to be 2.8127. Now, if you do the same thing in calculator, it's going to take you time. So the exam, it will be a little loss for us. If table is given, it's easier to refer table rather than using calculator. So knowing the table is important for that, and it's very easy. Like if they tell you the percentage, you should know the percentage and you should know the years. These are the years, these are the percentages. If they say 5%, go to this particular column, 5% column, and then you just check out the years. Okay, if they're saying 3 years, the value of 1 rupee after 3 years at 5% will be 1.1576. So all you need to do is just, if they say any rate, so let's take 2%, go to this column. Then you see the number of years. Number of years is 9. Then come down. Okay. So the value is 1.1951. The value of 1 rupee, the future value of 1 rupee at 2% after 9 years will be 1.1951. That is, at the end of 9 years, the future value of 1 rupee at 2% is going to be 1.1951. So this table can be used to reduce the calculation work. That is how we can calculate this. So basically there are 2 methods. One, you can use calculator. The other one is we can use the table. This table is called as future value interest factor. This is a short form, future value interest factor. Okay, now next question is, what is the amount at the end of the year if we deposit rupees 10,000 if you deposit rupees 10,000 in federal bank at 10% interest rate per annum, at 10% interest rate per annum compounded semi-annually. So this question is very similar to the previous question. But what's the difference? The difference is, till now we were taking only annually we were compounding things. This is the first question wherein we see the term semi-annually. The first question where we are seeing the term semi-annually. So in this case, what should we do? In this case, there is a slight change in the formula. In the previous cases, right, in every year you received interest only once. But in this particular case, each year you will be receiving interest twice. That is the twist. So you need to consider the number of times you are going to get the interest. So here the formula will be future value is equal to present value into 1 plus I divided by m to the power n into m. The formula is very similar. It's very similar to the previous formula. The previous formula was future value is equal to present value into 1 plus I to the power n. So now what have we done? We have just divided this I by m and we have multiplied this n by m. That is, now it is like, since it is for in every year, the number of times is 2 times. So we need to consider the number of times now. Previously it was only 1 time, but this time it's 2 times. So you need to take it as m. So m is nothing but 2. Since in every year you are going to give interest twice. So if it was quarterly, how many quarters are there in a year? There are 4 quarters in a year. So what would have done? In every year you would have given interest 4 times. If interest is given 4 times, you need to take number of years into the times. The times will be 4. If it is quarter, it is 4. If it is semi-annual, then it is 2. If it is monthly means every month you are getting interest. So in a year you will be getting interest 12 times. So what you need to do, you need to multiply the number of years into the number of times per year to get the total number of times you are going to get the interest overall. That is why you are going to do this, n into m. And then you divide the interest rate divided by m, that is number of times. Basically you are trying, if it is semi-annually, you are trying to find out what is the rate of interest for 6 months. I was nothing but I was the rate of interest for the entire year. What we need to find out now, since it is semi-annually, that is you are getting twice in a year. So you need to find out the rate of interest for 6 months. So if in the entire year, that is the interest rate is 10%, number of times is 2. So 10 by 2 is 5%. So you're going to get, like, roughly if you see, you're going to get 5% per year. Similarly, if it was 12, if you're going to get it monthly, if m was 12, then you would have got, and I was 10. So 10 divided by 12 would be the value of the interest rate. So that is what we're doing over here. Now let's calculate it. So they're going to just substitute present value is equal to 10,000. 1 plus I. What is I over here? I is 10%, that is 0.1 divided by m. M is semi-annual, so it is m is 2. N is 1 year, and the near 1 into m is 2 years. Since they are not mentioned how many years, we are assuming it is 1. M is nothing but 2. When you solve this, you are going to get 11,025 rupees. This is what you are going to get when you solve this. Again you can use this, you can use calculator to solve this, or you can solve it like that itself. Let me use a table to solve this so that you will understand this easier. As I told you, let me just go, okay. Now let me write down the figures. Over there, present value was 10,000. Your n was 1, okay, 1 year, yeah. Your m was 2 times. M was 2 times. And then what else we need? We need I. I was, I guess, 10 times. I was 10%, sorry, 10%. Okay. This was what was there in the question. Now let's solve it using the table. Present value 10,000. Okay, that let's keep it aside. Into, we have to find out the value of 1 rupee. 1 rupee, value of 1 rupee at 5%. Value of 1 rupee at 5%, and the period is 2. How did we get all these things? 5% I got by doing I by M, and 2 I got by doing N into M. So basically I have just substituted this thing. In the formula we had seen 1 plus I by M, that I by M is nothing but 5%. To the power N into M. N into M is nothing but 2. That is 1 into 2, you got 2. So we need to find out the value of 1 rupee. We need to find out the value of 1 rupee at 5%. The period is 2. So let's go to the table. 5% at 2. So this is 5%. 2 times. That is nothing but 1.1025. So first you just check out the column. The column is 5%, so the percentage is 5%, the period is 2. So the answer is 1.1025. 1.1025. So 10,000 has to be multiplied with 1.1025. When you multiply this, the answer that you will get is same as the previous one. That is, let me change the color, that is 11,025. This is nothing but 11,025. This is the answer that you got using the table method. In the table, what we found out? We just found out this 5% and this 2. This is what we need to find. And how did you find out? The percentage you'll find by dividing this by M, which is 2. You got 5%. And you'll find the N by multiplying these two. 2 into 1. All you need to do is multiply it. All you need to do is just find out the value in the table and then multiply here. Okay, and then you'll get the answer 11,025. This is the same thing that you got in the slide that we solved. 11,025. Use a calculator or you can use the table. The table is this. Thank you so much. Please do like and subscribe the video.